Today we enter the exciting world of polynomials, and let's first look at what does a polynomial mean. And if you see, we already have a couple of things up here. We have monomials, binomials, trinomials, polynomials. Well, the first thing we need to look at is nomial comes from nom, which is like name. So a nomial is a type of name. A monomial or a monomial just has one name, or it's one term. A binomial has two terms. A trinomial has three terms. And anything that has more than one can be called a polynomial. Now, let's talk a little bit about degrees of terms. This is not terribly important, but it is something you need to know. Degree refers to the exponential value. So if we look at the first example where it says 5x to the 7th, so we see that the exponent for x is 7, so that means it's a 7th degree. On 3x, if we were to write, we could write an exponent of 1, and it does not change the meaning, so then we have an exponential value of 1. Now, it gets a little bit trickier when you have more than one exponent, but not terribly tricky. You see this, 9x squared y to the 4th. We would simply add the 2 and the 4 to get 6. On the AB, remember, it's a to the first, b to the first. So when we add those two together, we get 2. Now, notice that we're only talking about exponents of the variables. We're not talking about any exponents on the numbers. For example, 12 is actually 12 to the power of 1, but it has 0 variables, so the degree is 0. And we're actually going to learn a little bit more about this because, well, I'm not going to confuse you. I just know we're going to learn more about that one later. Now, on the degree of a polynomial, it would be the highest degree of whatever term is there. So here you see we have a term with a second degree. This is a term to the first degree. This has no variable, so the second degree wins. Here we have a 0 degree, a 1 degree, a 7 degree. The 7 degree wins. Here we have a 2, and we have a second degree and a 4th degree. The 4th degree wins. Now again, if you see here, this AB, remember that that is a second degree, or a degree of 2, polynomial. So that takes over. Remember, if there is no exponent listed, it's going to be a 1. Okay? Now I'm just going to have to ask you in this next part to learn these names. Linear, that's what we've been doing all year, and that's where we have a degree of 1. See this, 7x, and even if we had y equals 7x plus 4, it's still just a degree of 1. Quadratic will have a degree of 2. Cubic has a degree of 3. Of course, 4th degree. Constant is what you've been doing since you were adding and subtracting. Now, let's get into the real meat of this lesson. And this is all about adding and subtracting polynomials. So I want to tell you that as you look at each term, the terms have to match. And I like to give the idea of cats and dogs. You cannot breed cats and dogs together. They both might be pets, but they like to stay in their own little groups. So, for example, we have 4x minus 5 plus 3x plus 6. Now, adding is going to be all right. Let me show you. So we're going to line up our 4x and our 3x vertically, and we're going to add those. 4x and 3x. And then I've got a minus 5, and then a plus 6. I'm going to add these vertically. So if I have 4 x's here and 3 of them here, that would give me 7 x's. Now if I have a negative 5 and a positive 6, that leaves me with a positive 1. So here, 7x plus 1 is our answer. Now when it comes to a minus sign, I want to show you a little trick. Let's first write this x squared plus y squared. Now, when you have a minus sign like this and it's outside parentheses, the best way to handle it is to make this a plus and then change the sign of everything inside. Minus 4x squared. Now notice, I'm writing my 4x squared under this x squared. This will now become a minus, oh, I forgot my y squared up there, 3y squared. Alright, so if I have to, I can write a 1 right here and a 1 right here, so I can do my adding. So 1 minus 4 is a negative 3x squared. And then the 1, we're talking about just the coefficient, taking this coefficient, which is 1, subtracting this negative 3, which is this coefficient, you get a negative 2y squared. And that is all it takes to combine these. Now let's work on some others. It's very important that you line up the like terms. So I have a 3x squared minus 5xy squared plus y to the third. This is a plus sign, so I just take everything as it shows here. This negative 3x squared goes under this x squared. This is minus 5xy squared. That's minus 5xy squared. And then this is a minus y to the third. So now I can add. Well, 3 minus 3 is 0, so those cancel out. A negative 5 and a negative 5 give me negative 10 xy squared. And then a positive y to the third and a negative y to the third cancel out. So my answer is this right here. Alright, so I'm going to write this one out. Begin with a 6x squared plus 12xy plus 4y squared. Now remember, I said it's easier if I just take this, make it a plus, and then change everything on the inside. So that would be a negative 2x squared. This would now become a plus. So it becomes a plus 8xy. This becomes a minus. So it'll be minus 2y squared. Now I can go up and down. 6 minus 2 gives me 4x squares. 12 plus 8 is 20xy. And 4 minus 2 gives me still a positive 2y squared. Alright, let's look at number 5. These are all lined up properly. So this is a 7. Remember, this is a negative, so that means if we have to, we can put the 1 in there. 7 minus 1 leaves me a 6x squared y squared. A negative 8 and a positive 9. This leaves me with a positive 1. I don't need to write the 1, xy. And then 9 plus 10 is 19. I'm going to do the same thing here. 5 minus 2 is 3x squared. 3xy, 8xy, you add 3 and 8, you get 11xy. Now this one, it has a constant, minus 4. The one above doesn't, so that would be like a 0. So 0 minus 4 would be minus 4. Okay. Now look here. X squared minus x squared, they cancel out. 2xy minus 2xy, they cancel out. Y squared plus y squared, that's 1. That's a second, so it leaves us with 2y squared. Alright. Number 8. It says some of the measures of the polygon are given. P represents the measure of the perimeter, so that means we have to add all the sides. So what we need to do is we need to 2x plus 3y. This is 2x minus 3y. And then this is x plus 2y. So let's do this. 2 plus 2 plus 1 gives me 3x. 3 minus 3 is 0, plus 2 is plus 2y. That's our answer. Alright. Now, on 9, we have a rectangle, and we can do this a couple of ways. We can plug it into our formula like this, or we could add up all 4. I'm going to plug this into our formula, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what is L plus W. Well, if I have 3x squared plus 5, then I have 4x squared. Now I can't do my 5x under this because it doesn't have an x. So I'm going to do my plus 1. That works. Notice how that's right there. Then I need to come out here and do plus 5x. Alright. So 3 and 4 is 7x squared. 5 and 1 is 6. And then I've got 5x. Now, I'll need to go back and point this out. It's very, very important. I can only line up above each other terms that are like. This has an x squared. This has an x squared. I can line them up on top of each other. This has no variable. This has no variable. They're both constants. I can line them up. This has an x. There is nothing in the top part that has just an x. This has an x squared, but I cannot add something with an x squared to something with an x. So I have to put it out here. Now I can plug this in to my formula, and I can come up with P equals 2 times 7x squared plus 6 plus 5x. And when I do my distributive property, 2 times 7x squared, I'm going to write my answer down here as 14x squared. 2 times 6 is positive 12. And then 2 times 5x gives me 10x. Now, just to be honest, this is not written in the order that it should be written in. I should have my exponents going in a decreasing form. So I would write 14x squared. I'm going to move this plus 10x over here, and then plus 12. Alright, let's look at algebra tiles. Now we've got our x squared algebra tiles. When they're shaded in, those are negatives. So negative x squared means I have negative 2x squared, and then I have a positive x, and then I have a negative 1. Here I have an x squared plus an x and plus 3. So now if I do my 0 pairs, this and this cancel out. This and this will cancel out. So what do I have left? I have a negative x squared. I've got 2 x's, and then I have 2 left over right there. All right. Find the total area given. Well, they give you the area of this shape, the area of this shape, and the area of this shape. So I have 3x squared plus, oh, I don't think they want me to write it like that. Let's see. Oh, let's go back. Yeah, I think they do. I think they do. So I'm sorry for that. Let me get back to my pens here. And then I have x squared plus x minus 2. And then I have 6x squared. Well, the only thing in each of these that is in common is the x squared part. So what I could do is I could just take this and this and this and add them together. So this would be 3 plus 1 plus 6 gives me, what is 3 plus 1 plus 6? That is 10 x squared. There's no other x I can combine with. There's only x squares. So I just do the plus x, and then I have just the constant over here, minus 2, and I'll just write it out there. Okay. Number 12. All I have to do is add these up. So it's a perimeter. X plus 5, x minus 2, and 2x minus 4. 1x plus another x is 2x, plus 2x is 4x. And then I come over here. A positive 5 minus 2 is 3, minus 4 is negative 1. Okay. Number 13. Find the perimeter of a pentagon that has 3 sides the length of 2x plus 3. And sometimes you just need to draw the... Alright, so I could do 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3, and 2 sides is the length of x minus 1. Now, I add all those up. And I could do, I'm going to do this just by trying x plus x is 2x, plus 2x is 4x, plus 2x is 6x, plus 2x is 8x. And now I'm going to start with the 3's. 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, minus 1 is 8, minus another 1 is 7. Okay. Number 14. One rectangle has an area of 7x squared minus 4x plus 12 feet squared. A second has an area of 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. How many more square feet is the first rectangle? Well, what that tells me I have to do is I have to subtract. So I'm going to write the first one, 7x squared minus 4x plus 12. Okay. Now when I subtract, the positive 4x becomes a minus 4x. The positive 2x becomes a negative 2x. And then the minus 1 becomes a plus 1. Now I can add. 7 minus 4 is, oh, it should be a square. 7x squared minus 4x squared gives me 3x squared. A negative 4x and a negative 2x, when you add them together, give you a negative 6x. And then a 12 and a 1 gives you 13. Alright, last one. Write an expression for the area of the shaded region. Write your answer in simplest form. Well, remember, the area of a triangle all right, is length times width divided by 2. So this is a triangle. A rectangle, the area equals length times width. So for my triangle, I need to have x plus 6 times 2x minus 5, and then we're going to divide by 2. And you know, we haven't gotten to this one. I tell you what, make number 16 a bonus. I'm going to help set it up for you. The rectangle is going to be x times x minus 1. And what you'll do is you will figure this first part out and subtract the second part, and that will give you the area of the triangle. All right, good luck. See you next time for part 2.